Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Sunday, March 23rd, 2025. My newest segment of Markets Look Ahead. People, things are changing, and they're changing very fast. Platforms like this one soon will no longer exist. There is a whole very dark agenda going on here right now, and we really have to stop this. We must take a stand against free speech, oppression, division, and hatred. Therefore, I have become the lion of Wall Street. Period. We are all lions, and that means that together, as a pride, we have power, and we're not going to allow them to take it away from us. Not only have I been X'd from X, I cannot post on X. They did not take down my channel like Substack did. Substack, not only have I been suspended from Substack, but they erased every single post I have ever put up there, whitewashed from the internet. Is this a shock to you or a surprise? Most of that work you'll find in the Trends Journal. Speaking of which, people, every week I put out a publication. As a matter of fact, this is a brand new one. It's in your inbox right now if you subscribe to my 100% free newsletter, still Substack, link in the description of this video. There's no stopping this guy. There is no stopping me. There is no stopping you either. We must unify. We must come together, people. We are being destroyed. We are being eliminated. I don't know another way to say this to you. I'm going to cover a bunch of things here, but you have to understand what I've been saying to you guys and girls for I don't know how long. The middle class is becoming extinct around the world. We are moving into a neo-feudalistic society very, very rapidly. The curtailing of information, one particular narrative here. Believe me, we are going to see things you're not going to even... People's stuff of nightmares is coming down the pike here. There's no doubt about it. Re-education camps. Trust me on this. One narrative. That's it. And it's not pretty what's going on. You understand? And it's the minority that is dragging us in this direction, which means you and I have to work much harder. What have I been explaining? People are going to willingly surrender their rights, their freedoms, and their liberties to be taken care of from cradle to grave in this new dystopian society that is being created, and the hub is the United States of America. It's extremism which has taken over. Extremism. And look, man, don't take my word for this. Look back on history. Go back as far as you want to go, and you will see that we are witnessing the fall, a great fall. And in my opinion, only a select few are going to be able to get through this. This is why we have to unite, why we must come together. We have to do this or we will lose. You understand? So if you consider yourself a lion, as I am, okay, you need to regroup. You need to rethink. You need to come out with more force than ever before. And with that comes a responsibility for all of you to share this information, get it out there, not just these videos here. Start talking about this. Start talking about what you know in your heart to be true. All right? It's time to wake up, people. We're in a very bad spot. And I'm going to cover some things with you here today, especially this. And I really want you to pay attention to what I said here. And again, this is, all of you will get this first before anybody else. This will come out in the Trends Journal. It'll come out in a bunch of publications here. Getting information first gives you an edge. And I have made a promise to all of you from, I don't know how, from over a decade ago, that I got your back and I will never let you down. And I want you to think of this video as a wake-up call. We must come together. We must unite. We must fight against what we see happening, which we know in our hearts is wrong. Are we on the same page here? At least I hope so. Because what we're seeing is very destructive. And as you all know, I've been telling you guys for I don't know how long, this is a methodical, deliberate deconstruction of the current system, creating dependency on the system that they have now, only to switch this. We're already being bridged into a new system, people. A system you don't want, a system you didn't vote for. This cryptocurrency system, this crypto capital of the world, we're adding cryptocurrencies to our strategic reserves. Why are we not adding gold? Why is there no rush to see if there is gold in Fort Knox right now? I've been hearing about this for, I don't know, for a couple of months now. The gold may not be there. The gold may not be there, really? Well, why isn't anyone going to check it out? Because I believe the greatest theft in the history of the world is going on right now. And you know who's responsible for it. This is a very dangerous time in the world right now. We are at war on an economic level. We are seeing kinetic war spread. And what we just found out over this weekend should alarm you. And we're going to talk more about that. Let's begin. People, there's you already know this, but I want to cover what's happening here. You understand, if you've been with me for any length of time, the goal of every single central bank, which I consider to be the enemy of mankind, okay? These institutions are diabolic. These institutions seek to control you via your mechanism of transaction, which they force us all to participate in. You can't be outside their system. Congress here in the United States can force you, and is forcing you, to participate in the Federal Reserve System, which is neither federal and has no reserves. These institutions collectively, central banks of the world, are the enemy. I don't know another way to put that. And what we have here is world leaders working with their respective central banks to destroy you, calling for lower rates, which means you lose purchasing power. At the same time, here in the United States and around the world, we're witnessing a phenomenon of massive currency devaluation, leading to obviously what we're all having to pay for is inflation. Most people do not understand the connection here. They don't realize that the reason why costs are rising is because the currency is getting weaker. It's taking more currency to buy anything. You understand? This mechanism, there's not a single roadblock right now being put up to stop it. Not one. Not one economic policy. Not one presidential executive order. Nothing at all. So what that means is they know what we know. We're being systematically destroyed. We're being systematically eradicated in favor of what? The corporate elite, the super ultra rich. Do you see this yet, or are you still yet to wake up? Anyway, going back to central banking, the world is dumping U.S. debt right now, and the Federal Reserve is fulfilling their goal to become the lender and buyer of last resort. I would have to say that they've already done this here. The goal of every central bank is only one thing: to be the lenders and buyers of last resort. Central banks, the Federal Reserve, let's just shed a little light on what the Fed is doing here. Their goal is to issue their product to the world, to you, and to have you submit to their system. And we're being bridged into an entirely new system. You all know that. Okay. Now, with that, think about what I'm saying here. As the currency is deliberately devalued, and this mechanism is wicked. It's in your face. We're hearing calls for demands for lower rates. At the same time, we're being told we're going to be paying more for things. How does that work? Again, the mechanism here of artificially suppressed rates destroys the purchasing power of the currency. When that happens, it's a wrecking machine for the middle class. It's a wrecking machine for the economy. Do you understand what I'm talking about here? If not, I can understand that. You're not being told the truth anywhere. It's deception. It's distraction. It's look here. It hasn't changed at all. Maybe the figurehead sitting behind the Resolute desk has, but the agenda is the same. Deception, distraction, misinformation, where truth is told it's fake news. You understand? Why do you think I've been X'd from X? Okay? Because I'm putting out fake news. Do you think this is fake? If you are, then why are you here? Why have I been suspended? I can't even believe this. I thought that Substack was a platform for free speech. Obviously, that's not either. It's being eliminated piece by piece by piece. This blog is on borrowed time. I will find a way to get my information out to you. But what's happening here? The world is dumping U.S. debt. And when debt is being sold, there must be a buyer. You understand? There's buyers and sellers in the market. The debt market is a market. No one wants our dollars, which are units of debt. No one wants our debt. Period. No one wants our products. American citizens are being spit on around the world right now. The United States is being isolated from the world. Our alignments that we are, what's happening here is so outside of where we really should be going here. We should be unifying the world instead of dividing us all. This is what you're seeing on a micro scale here in the United States. The divide and conquer mechanism is happening now on a macro scale. But this is very detrimental to the citizenry of the United States. Again, think about what I'm saying here. No one wants our dollars. This is going to exacerbate all our debt here, and the Fed's buying it all back. All of these dollars that now exist in the world, in whatever form they may exist, if the world is turning their back on the dollar, clearly, people, this is no secret. The world is de-dollarizing. Do you understand? Okay, I think you do. That means that all of these dollars that are not needed have to go somewhere. Where are they going to go? Are they just going to evaporate and disappear into the cosmos somewhere? No. They're coming back here to the United States, and it can't be stopped unless there's direct action to stop that. So with regard to inflation that we're seeing right now, we're seeing a kick up in the money velocity, which I've told you would happen from a long, long time ago here. This is just the beginning here of what's going on. And not a single policy is being put in place to prevent what's happening. So this must be deliberate. You're being destroyed. You're being wiped out. Anyway, so you can expect that without direct intervention, and there is none going on here, and it must happen soon, meaning we don't need lower rates. We all understand that. Lower rates is a mechanism to destroy the purchasing power of the currency. The real reason why world leaders are working with their central banks to lower rates is so we can service the debt. You understand? Or we can expand the debt further. That's what's happening here. We are a world that is at a very interesting paradox. The paradox is this, and you know if you follow this blog, even though the world appears debt saturated, there's not enough of it. The system is 1,000,000% dependent on vast debt expansion. And they will expand that debt via any mechanism they can come up with. Even the things of nightmares. What are they utilizing right now? War. The expansion of war. We're sending a second U.S. carrier battle strike group to the Middle East, the USS Carl Vinson, to join the Theodore Roosevelt over there as our war. We are at war, kinetic war in Yemen. Over there is expanding. And I'm going to read you something right out of the Pentagon in just a little bit as to what's going on. And you should be frightened about what they're saying. Frightened? Yes. But you should be taking action. You should have expected this, because I've been telling you guys and girls to expect anything, even things you can't even dream about. Sounds about right to you? I hope it really does here. What this channel is about lions who are taking action. People who are not sitting back, sucking their thumb off somewhere and hoping that things are going to change just because they have faith in the wrong place. You understand? If you do not have your faith in the Almighty God, if you're placing it in any human being here, you're on the losing end. I want you to understand that. And that's really what's happening here. People have been lulled into some kind of a trance. Some people really don't see what's happening. They're unable to see it. And never before, I think in my lifetime, have I seen a time where the United States has been in a greater free fall than it is right now. And the prospect for a world war, which I already been telling you, started a long, long time ago. We're just seeing the effect of what's called mission creep. Mission creep. You understand? This isn't about terrorism. Some of you just still don't get it. The war over here in Yemen, first of all, the Houthis have not attacked a ship in many, many months. Even military.com, look this up for yourself, is questioning why President Trump ordered this right now. The mechanism is simple. It's a means to pull cash into the now. Even though, again, the system seems debt saturated, it operates in a perpetual black hole that can never be filled. They have to come up with any reason they could dream about, think about, and things of nightmares to allow the system to inflate. You understand? That's really what this is all about. And you're paying for it in the form of what? Currency, purchasing power, destruction. Hundreds of billions of dollars already in this kinetic war against the Houthis had to be created out of nothing. We don't have the cash. Where does that cash come from? Do we have a stash somewhere? Does the United States or any nation for that matter have a stash of cash sitting somewhere where we can fight wars, never-ending wars, expanding wars? Do we have that? No. You're not supposed to know that all this cash must be borrowed into existence. It must be added to a digital screen. So obviously here, there is those working in Washington with the Federal Reserve saying, hey, you know what? We need to fund this. Can you add some digits to a screen so we can propagate war? We can carry on a kinetic war. We can carry on an economic war or whatever it might be. Do you see what I'm talking about? Are you finally seeing the light? We're broke. We don't have the cash here. We're being systematically eradicated. I don't know another way to put it. So anyway, let us move forward. Economic collision course. Trump's tariffs versus Fed's inflation concerns. Now, we're already being told that tariffs are going to hit your pocketbook. At the same time, President Trump is saying we need lower rates. Lower rates means what? You lose purchasing power. If we're being told that we're going to our cost of living is going to rise here around the world. Again, this is not just a phenomenon in the United States, and world leaders, there's not one saying we need to raise rates. Raising rates would give you back purchasing power of your currency, and you'd be able to deal with, let's say, something like this. But it's getting much worse, and we're going to cover this in just a moment, so I want you to bear with me, all right? The game is already set. The stage is set. You and I said this would happen. There's going to be a fake battle here set up. It's already started. The day after last week when the Fed said, hey, you know what, we're going to leave rates put. We're not doing anything with them. President Trump's out there on a tirade saying the Fed needs to lower rates. Fed needs to lower rates. Same page as Elizabeth Warren. Very interesting set of dynamics in play here. But what you're not being told is this mechanism is going to cause you to lose purchasing power. Your cost of living is going to rise. Everything, again, that you use to your dollars in this case here, or whatever it might be around the world, euros, you're losing. And the mechanism is in place to make this vastly worse because there's not a single roadblock to stop the tsunami of inflation that's coming at us, those dollars that are rushing back here to the United States specifically. I've told you, the American way of life is changing very dramatically and not in a very good way. Again, be distracted and deceived. Look at this, look at that. And look, man, I've given President Trump a lot of credit for things that he's done. He's done a lot of good things, but a lot of the stuff here, this is a deception. Okay, look at these things here, people. I did what I said, but in the background, there's all this other stuff going on that you guys aren't paying attention to, some of you, and you're going to pay for it. Anyway, let us move forward. This is the Pentagon news here, Pentagon rundown, as a matter of fact. Look at this headline. Campaign against the Houthis will not be an endless offensive. What does that headline alone tell you? We already know. They've already told us it's open-ended. But here, they're kind of contradicting themselves here because the truth is this is going to go on and on and on and on. War is being utilized as a weapon, not against the Houthis, because this is not a war against terrorism. This is a war against you. This is a war against you because they're going to allow the Federal Reserve, in this case, to inflate and inflate and inflate and inflate. Every world leader right now is working with their respective central banks to allow them to inflate, to allow the collective of central banks to gain more and more power over all of us. Again, you know the mechanism. The more debt, which is the single product of every central bank around this world, the more debt they're allowed to issue or are called on to issue, the stronger they become and the weaker we get. Do you see what I'm talking about yet, or does the truth still elude you? Do you see why I can't post on X anymore, why I have been X'd from X? Do you see why? And it's only a matter of time, I assume, before they're going to pull me down from Substack again. I don't know who owns Substack. Is it Elon Musk? I have no idea. I don't know what's going on over there. But something is. At least for now, I'm still on Substack, and I'm asking you guys and girls to join me there. Again, link in the description of this video. Lion of Wall Street. But you can't know this stuff. What I'm explaining to you, a fraction of the population actually knows. Anyway, look, so this will, according to the Pentagon, they're telling you this will not be, will not be, it will end at one point. The U.S. military air and, let me read this to you. This is, again, look this up for yourself. The U.S. military air and missile strikes against Houthi rebels, again, because they're trying to convince you this is a war on terror, which it's not. These strikes are going after a much broader set of targets. It's expanding, as you and I have already been made aware of. Air Force Lieutenant General Alex, I cannot say that. This guy, can you say that word? Whatever his name is. Alex, whatever, Director of Operations for the Joint Staff, told reporters that this military campaign is striking a much broader set of targets. Now, on the back of that, we find out, and this is the U.S. Navy Times, President Trump sends a second carrier strike group to the Middle East. That's because this is going to end sometime soon. Again, the United States is sending a second aircraft carrier to the Middle East in a rare and provocative move as the Trump administration intensifies its bombing campaign. The USS Carl Vinson and its accompanying destroyers will join the USS Harry Truman carrier strike group. President Trump is again saying that the Houthis will be completely annihilated via these airstrikes, and is warning Iran, as you know, to stop supplying them with military equipment. People, there's something so much bigger going on here. I really hope you understand what's happening to you. And again, you think this is not going to affect you. The economy here in the United States and around the world is in free fall, okay? They're really doing all they can to prop up the stock market. A lot of debt buying as you can go on. The mechanism of central banks buying debt, the central banks of the world are the number one buyers of debt. The Federal Reserve is the number one buyer of debt on the planet Earth. They're buying it all, as you all know, which is their goal, to own it all. And the more debt the Fed buys or issues, it's an amazing thing. The Federal Reserve, every central bank does the same thing. They issue debt through one door in the form of currency, and then they buy it back via government debt. So it's a revolving door. What no one will ever tell you, and why I was X from X and everything else here, is this is a vortex of inflation here. When central banks issue debt through one door and buy it back through another, it starts this spinning vortex, faster and faster and faster and faster, and you can see the effect of this around the world. Yes? No? Now, Howard Lutnick, our U.S. Treasury Secretary, don't complain if we do not send you a Social Security check. That's him right there. Is that a face that you feel like you can trust? Or do you feel that you're being deceived? This is a multi-billionaire. He, his family, his parents, no one will have to rely on Social Security, a system that you and I pay for, okay, have paid into since you started working. But don't worry about it and do not complain. This is a quote. You don't believe me? Look it up for yourself. Don't complain. This is what I am talking about, people. This is what I am talking about. Now, before we move forward, this is in your inbox right now. Dystopianism. Hunker down, because the worst is yet to come. I'm going to cover this with you right now, and I'm going to do what I usually do. People, for many years, and for those of you who follow my work, I have attempted to explain that there is a deliberate and extremely methodical new order or transition happening worldwide. Especially as of late, we are hearing these words, transition. President Trump used that word. And even more, the use of transitory in the vernacular of the elite. Politicians, along with central bankers, are using these terms more and more often. Do you think maybe they're trying to tell you something? In terms of the economy and the middle class, along with small businesses and entrepreneurship here in the United States, there is certainly great transition. Now, what I'm about to tell you, again, whatever I say, don't believe it. I want you guys and girls to look it up for yourself. According to the latest data, listen to this, a staggering 90% of U.S. small businesses startups fail. 90%. This is the highest level ever recorded in the United States history. And with entrepreneurship of the middle class, it's the same story. It's gone. Currently, I want you to focus on, that's important what I just said, but listen to this. Every current economic policy, and you're allowed to disagree with me, and if you do, post a comment. Every current economic policy being put in place here in the United States right now, without exception, favors big business, the corporate agenda, and the corporate elite. Therefore, as I have been warning for as far back as you want to go, the middle class here in the United States is being erased. Yes, this is the transition which I have been attempting to convey in my work to all of you for years, will and would happen, which raises yet another question. Is this the same transition which the elite are also referring to? In my opinion, people, it's a no-brainer. The answer is obvious. We are being transitioned. I've been telling you guys and girls, neo-feudalism, a yet-to-define system, extreme haves, extreme have-nots. Does this ring a bell to you? If you've been with me for any length of time, now we're hearing about transitions and transitories. Yeah, because we're being thrust into a new system, a new paradigm, a new set of rules. Does that sound familiar to you as well? Because I've only been telling you that for 10 freaking years. Let us move forward here. What is going to greatly exacerbate the wipeout / transitioning of the middle class, exacerbate U.S. small business failures, and with that entrepreneurship of the middle class, is currency purchasing power destruction. It's the root cause. You always got to look for the root cause. Currently, there is not a single, not one, government purchasing power. There's not one effort to combat this. So currently there is not a single government policy or otherwise which is even attempting to address the issue of currency purchasing power destruction. Not one. In fact, what we are hearing are calls and even demands for lower rates. Those demands are coming directly from the President of the United States. In finance and economics, there exists only two absolute truths. Fundamental certainties, just two. Number one, you know this already. To have a strong currency, to have a strong economy, you need a strong currency. And to have a strong currency, you need a corresponding rate high enough to support the currency. So when you hear a politician tell you or demand that their central bank respectively lower rates, first of all, it allows their central bank to inflate, which makes them stronger. By stealing your purchasing power, it makes you weaker. Do you see what I'm talking about? Or again, does the truth yet still elude you? All a weak currency does is allow for multinational corporations to take advantage of the overseas currency exchange rate and therefore increase profits. Listen to that again. All a weak currency does is allow for multinational corporations to take advantage of the overseas currency rates, exchange rates, and therefore increase profits. What is every single policy and executive order doing right now here in the United States? It's fulfilling the corporate agenda. It's helping the corporate elites. With that, cost in terms of purchasing power losses for the currency becomes an absolute wrecking machine for the middle class and the economy. The dynamics in play right now guarantee that regarding inflation and currency purchasing power losses, we have not seen anything yet. Conclusion. I view this as a deliberate mechanism, which is assuring that we are being transitioned into some kind of dystopian, yet to be defined new form of neo-feudalism. So hunker down. And then I go on to say this at the end. I want you to pay attention to what I said here. It's not so much the mask I hate. It's what lies behind the mask, which I truly despise. I hope you guys are able to see not only the mask, but what lies behind that mask. You understand? It's time to raise our collective awareness. It's time for action. Action, my lions. Are you disgusted of being oppressed, downpressed, being forced to suffer more and more in this twisted system that we have, which is being fueled to make it even worse? You actually see it yet, or no? I really do want to hear from you on this, people. Where do you stand on this? Are you a lion or are you a sheep? It's time to decide where you stand, honestly. And really, we got to come together. We got to unify. Um, Expect to see much more pain, hatred, division, because that's where the money is. There's nothing in love and unity. You understand that? That's where our strength lies. And we together, collectively, I really believe this, if can change the freaking world, we got to really make a commitment to it. Otherwise, it's over. It's really over. You understand? I love you guys and girls. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, I really want to hear from you. If I've gotten anything wrong here, I am willing to accept that. I am willing to accept it. But I would like to hear where I'm getting this wrong. What am I missing? Because again, collectively we're stronger. Let's come together. And we have to discuss issues. I get that. Forget about the hatred. You're going to see a lot of comments here, okay, down below. Just be ready for it, okay? But I'm telling you, lions, fight back, okay? We're not laying down here, okay? You're a lion or are you a sheep? Me, I'm a lion. And I am wearing that outwardly, as you can see. And that's how I see it. People, share the video, get it out there. I cannot post on X, so maybe you will share my stuff on X and whatever social network that maybe you utilize here. Okay, let's weaponize the system against them. They don't want you to know this stuff, but let's disperse this information. I don't know, man. Love all you guys. I'll see you in the morning. All right, and that's it. I don't know what else to say.